All right, okay, so let's start. Okay, so I think let's start the webinar. Sorry, my motorbike passing through here and there. Okay, so very good afternoon to everybody who attended this one. Okay, I'm moderating all the way from Istanbul. Okay, so we are very lucky here today because we have another webinar organized by Careful, and our speaker, our I would say principal fellow Prof. Karin, is going to share with us how to prepare the lessons in a very, how to pronounce the word
Gagné.
Gagné. I don't know how to pronounce the word, the Gagné way to doing it. So Prof, over to you. I leave everything to you.
Okay, Dr. Cho, thank you very much. I hope you are okay there in Istanbul. So our session this afternoon only for 1 hour. So we will finish about 3:30, only 1 hour. And it's about something that we do every day, every week to prepare lesson plan. So this is something to me very relevant, very important to all of us, all of you. I don't have to prepare a lesson plan anymore, but for those who are still actively teaching, lesson plan is something that you have to do, and you have to do it well and to do it properly. When I say properly, using a proper so-called scholarly approach, proper instructional model. We're going to talk about that. Before we dive in further, can you all please do the short survey? The link is given in the chat. Only 2 questions. So please, everyone, if you can do this survey very quickly. Currently looking at this, we have about 20 people. So I expect to get 20 responses. Only 2 questions. Can get it done in 10 seconds. Let me share the screen now. Okay, can you all see the screen? Someone can confirm? Dr. Chua, can you confirm that you can see my screen? Okay, all right.
Yes, I can see the screen.
Can see here? Okay, these are the questions. So far, 6 responses. I expect to get more than about 20 responses. So let's wait for a few seconds. Only 2 questions here. The first one is about whether you know or do you use any specific instructional design model in your lesson plan. The keyword here is instructional design, ID model. So you've been teaching for some time already. So whether you are, how do you design your lesson plan? Are you aware that there are specific instructional design that you can use, instructional design model or ID? Or do you know anything, or how much do you know about instructional design, ID? If not, so hopefully, starting from now, you can learn more, read more about what is ID. Doesn't matter if you are engineering lecturers, whether you are teaching, science subject, whatever. As long as we are teaching, we must be aware, understand, and able to apply something called instructional design, ID. And there are several ID models. How come I get only 7 responses? Come on, everyone. Don't disappoint me. We have about 20 people here, I can see. It's only two questions.
One person can answer how many times?
Well, you can answer a few
Can
times.
answer many times. I answer on behalf of them.
I
No,
is
no,
not
sorry,
allowed.
sorry, no.
Somehow, when I do the webinar with Unit 10, the response when I do this kind of survey is either very slow or I don't get more than 50%. This is something that I think we have to change this when we participate in anything. I think we should put our heart and our mind to it. Otherwise, we'll be wasting time. Yeah. So I really like to see close to 20 because I can see about 24 minus myself minus Dr. Chua, about 22 minus Kafel, let's say around 20. So I'm still waiting. Actually. This thing can only probably take about 10 seconds or less to answer. Okay. I get about 11 now. I think probably okay. I have to proceed. Okay, do you use any specific instructional design in your lesson plan? Yes. I can see about 45%, 46%. Okay, that's good. Yes, the blue one, the orange one, not sure what ID is. So about equal, 45, 46, 40, 42%, yes, 42% say no or not sure. And then no, not using any ID model, about 17%. Okay. So for those who have been using ID model, are you familiar with the following instructional design model? I listed here only a few. There are many. The one that we are going to focus in this session is Gagné. Gagné and 9 events of instruction. Then the very popular one is Eddy model. Bloom taxonomy, by right, everyone should know Bloom taxonomy. SAM, yeah, SAM is relatively new one compared to Gagné and Eddy, but because now it's getting quite popular. Successive approximation model. Then the other two, Merrill's first principle of instruction and Dick and Carey. So these are some of the popular ID model. So the next question is, what exactly is instructional design or ID? And why there are a few models and which one is the best model? So this is something that we're going to discuss in this session. So the session is all about helping you to design lesson plan, but not just ordinary lesson plan. It's a dynamic lesson plans. When we say dynamic, what is the characteristics of something that is dynamic? Can you all put in the chat? When we say dynamic, what does it mean by dynamic? The word dynamic, what is the connotation of dynamic? Let me check the chat. Okay. Engaging, okay. Two-way communication, changes. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, changes. When you say dynamic, things always change. So when you conduct your lesson, 1 hour lesson, 2 hours, some people have 3 hours straight class, physical or online, just like what we are doing now. We always have a plan, right? If you don't have a plan for that 1 hour class, then you will just do things ad hoc, and maybe you are not able to achieve the learning outcome properly because you don't have a proper plan. So you just do it based on your experience, and you just go by the flow. If you are very, very experienced, maybe you can do that. You can just wing it. We just wing it, and you still can do the job. But even for very experienced lecturer, it is always advisable to have a plan, because if we don't have a plan, we plan to fail, and we just do things not very systematic way. It's not good. It's not, to me, it's not good to just do it without a plan. Even this 1 hour session, I plan it properly, and I have a module to share with you later. I will share the module, but it has to be a proper plan. I know exactly, I have visualized what's going to happen, what I'm going to do next. I have done the preparation. So, you probably, some of you probably have not imagined how much I prepared for this 1 hour session. So everything is properly planned, systematically, meticulously planned. That's what we expect from a good, outstanding educator. If you just walk into your class without preparation, because you get busy with so many other things, and you put teaching as a secondary thing, I think I would feel guilty if I walk into the class unprepared. I don't know about you, but I will feel guilty if I don't prepare well for my class. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to give you another link, and I've given the link in the chat. Please click that link, and there's a questions. What come to your mind? Three keywords that come to your mind when we talk about lesson plan. What come to your mind? Lesson plan. So put these 3 keywords, and we will see the results in the form of word cloud. What come to your mind? 3 words that come to your mind when we talk about a lesson plan. What is it? Yeah. So once again, let's look at the Mentimeter here. The link is given in the chat, or you can also go to menti.com and put the code shown on the screen, 88148985. Okay, we can see that timing, mapping, challenging. Doing a lesson plan can be challenging, but now with AI, because I'm going to talk about AI, how we can use AI to help us to do a lesson plan. You can automate the process of creating lesson plan, and now preparing a teaching plan is no more that challenging. It become routine and very easy with AI. Outcomes, yes, I would say outcomes, because if you don't have a lesson plan, you might not be able to achieve learning outcome. Coverage, teaching step, teaching plan, topics to teach, yeah, content creation, learning outcome, assessment, organizing, objective, hard work. Always hard work, yeah. But now, with AI, it doesn't have to be hard work. It doesn't have to. Okay. So this is what I'm going to share with you, and to do it properly using a proper instructional model, which is Gagné 9 events of instruction that we're going to discuss. Planning. Yeah. It requires proper planning. Okay. And ideally, you want to design all your lesson plan for the whole semester, lesson by lesson, well in advance, not at the 11th hour, not last minute. Yeah. So I don't know, but to me, if you are doing things last minute, yeah, you cannot do a good job lah. Always be prepared and prepared in advance. Okay, assessment planning. Okay, engagement, participate. All right. Okay, thank you very much for your participation. Now, we're going to, we just now, I asked you, why is it called dynamic lesson plan? Because sometimes, no matter how good we plan, sometimes things have to change. We have to adapt. We have to modify. We have to adjust. Yeah, because anything can happen. Then we need to change the plan, tweak the plan a bit in real time while we are doing the presenting or conducting the session. Always have a plan B. So that's why we call it dynamic. And the particular instructional design model that we are going to share here is called Gagné 9 Events of Instruction. This has been my favorite. I've been using it for a long time, and I hope after this session you will read more and maybe start to apply this in your 1 hour lesson or 2 hours lesson, whatever, but in your lesson. Now, so this webinar bridges instructional design theory with practical application, because after this webinar you can straight away use this model, and I will share with you one custom GPT which I designed, which can automate the process. All you need to do is just put the title of your lesson, the learning outcome, the duration of the class, and who are your audience. Let's say second year, Bachelor of Science students, whatever. So give the information, those informations, and then after that, this custom GPT will create the 1 hour lesson plan or whatever duration that we have specified. Very, very easy. Okay. So by doing this, you should be able to create a very engaging lesson plan, very engaging lesson with your students, effective learning experience for the students, and leverage the strengths of both pedagogical framework. So when we talk about scholarly teaching, if you have heard this term, scholarly teaching means whatever approaches that we use in the class, innovation that we introduce, technique that we use, must be supported by research evidence that show the method work, the approach work, evidence-based, research-based. So this is what we call scholarly teaching, meaning that you always use something or do something informed by research. It's not just short sendiri, not just doing it because you like it, because your teachers last time used that approach. No, it has to be guided by the theory, by the research evidence, by your understanding of how this thing work. That is scholarly teaching. And the scholarly teaching is always based on the pedagogical framework, pedagogical principles and theory, adult learning theories, and so on. Okay? And we will learn how we can leverage technology, in this case, using AI. I mentioned just now, using custom GPT to help you design. Okay? So within this very short time, hopefully by 3:30, you know what is Ghanaian and events, and I will show you very quickly how to use custom GPT or AI to design the 1 hour lesson for you. Okay. Now, another questions that I hope you can respond in the chat. Think of one only one most memorable moment when you were in school many years ago that you still remember until now. Never forget about it. That moment, special moment in your class with your favorite teacher that you still remember until now. What is it and why? Okay? Can you all please respond to this one? Show that the Unit 10 lecturers are very responsive, very supportive to the speaker. So think of one most memorable moment in school that you still remember until now and why. So I'll just give 1 minute here. And then I will look at the in the chat, yeah? Please respond in the chat. Okay. Sing song during class time with English teacher. Denda. Okay. Empty. Empty. What does it mean? Dr. Yu. Iwi. Dr. What? I don't know how to pronounce this. Iwi or what does it mean by empty? Cannot remember anything? Wow. Nothing memorable during the school. 12 years, how many years in school? Nothing to remember, eh? I personally, I have a few moments that I remember vividly until now. For example, my chemistry teacher, my favorite chemistry teacher, he did a few things in the class, demonstration, and so on. My English teacher, we did a lot of role play, drama, debate. Very, very lively class. I still remember until now. Biology class, you know. So my Form 2 science teacher, Puan Lo, she explained very well. Okay, good, Vivian. Form 2 science teacher. So I'm sure you remember her for that dedication and passion, and I'm sure you try to model that, right? Try to model
Yeah,
that,
with
and maybe even better.
energy. Even
Yeah,
better, no lah, no
maybe
lah.
even better, eh?
Yeah,
Yeah,
surprisingly, that time only using, blackboard, that time
yeah,
20, more than 20, it's not more than 20 years. Yeah, more than 20 years ago.
yeah.
I can still remember that
Not
time, no PowerPoint, but it's just like
no PowerPoint.
the blackboard and the
Yeah,
chalk, right? The way
not so
that she
much, not
explained.
not so much of technology, right?
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
very important. The teachers must know her things out very well.
The reason why I ask this question because if we have that one memorable moment with our teacher, and then we ask ourselves truthfully, have we created such memorable moment for our students? Ask ourselves truthfully, honestly, sincerely. If we have been teaching for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 25 years, how many of those memorable moments have you created? Yeah, you'll never know. And probably you cannot answer that question. Only your students can answer that questions. And all this are related to how we design our class, our lesson, every lesson, not just one or two lessons, every lesson. We must find ways to really capture the attention of our students. We give our level best to design our lesson plan. We cannot compromise. We never compromise the quality of our teaching, and therefore you always strive to learn something new? How do I make my class very interesting every time? You know, every webinar, every short course, every workshop that I conduct, I think I never fail to deliver my best. But whether that my best is seen as the best for the students, I don't know. But I have never compromised my standard. So I hope every one of us here, because some of you still have a long way to teach, still have a long way in the teaching, in the academia. I really hope you all can start really putting the best effort in your teaching, despite you are so busy with other things, research, supervision, and doing other things as well. Never compromise teaching. Never. Otherwise, after 30 years in your career and you retired, you look back, can you really be proud of what you have delivered, of what you have done? Can you really justify every single cent that we receive from the salary? So this is something that we have to be, really ask ourselves sincerely. Now, in 1 hour lesson, so I just use the basis 1 hour. Yeah, some of you probably have 2 hours lesson, 3 hours lesson straight. But we are looking at, let's say, the smallest unit here, which is 1 hour, typical 1 hour lesson. So effective, how do you segment your 1 hour class? So when we talk about Gagné 9 events of instruction, actually, we can segment our 1 hour class into 9 segments. 9 segments, yeah? So effective lesson plan is crucial for a teacher to deliver a successful and engaging learning experience. When a teacher does not have a lesson plan, they may waste a lot of time making decision and adjustment as they go about delivering the lesson. Jadi kelang kabut lah. Jadi kelang kabut, very unsystematic. Things that you should do first, you do next, you do last, it's kind of very haphazard thing, very unorganized. And the student can see that. The student can see whether you are a very organized person, very organized teacher, well prepared, or you just wing it every time. Wing it, yeah. So this can lead to a disorganized and confusing learning process for students. Remember, students is novice learner. They probably learn that topic for the first time, and we don't organize our teaching well. That would make the students even confused more. Therefore, it is essential for teachers to create a well-structured lesson plan. Well-structured lesson plan. That's the whole idea of this instructional design. Okay, everything's by design, not by chance. Okay. So in 1 hour lesson, you can have all these things as we see in this picture here. But if it's not organized, it will be all over the places. Now let's talk about ID now. Instructional design. If you have not learned about ID before, let's start now. So Benjamin Franklin said, if you fail to plan, then you are planning to fail. These are very famous quote, yeah? I think I have not refreshed this. Let me refresh this because I've added something. Yeah. So let's look at this. Now we use the term instructional design. Instructional come from the word instruction. What does instruction mean? Instruction refers to various stages of or events the learner goes through during a lesson to facilitate the learning process. So if most people will think about instruction, meaning that we instruct, we teach, we tell, we ask. But in terms of the instructional design, instruction refers to stages or events or segments which the learner goes through during the whole duration of the class, of the lesson. So if the teacher failed to use this event during lesson, they fail to plan the first event, the next event, the next event, the next event, he or she will be involved in providing information instead of instruction. So if you don't plan, meaning that, you just show your PowerPoint and you just talk and talk and talk, instead of getting the students to engage, getting the students to involve, to participate, to construct their own learning. What we want is actually learning by doing, by getting the students to learn, to uncover the lesson, the content, the concept, the principles. So rather than we cover, but we let the students to uncover. It's a different kind of mindset there. We flip that. Instead of I cover the content in the class, but now we design it in such a way that the students actively participate and involve. They take charge of their own learning with our guidance, so that the student would uncover it slowly. Okay, so that's different concept now. Different concept. I cover the content in the class, but instead of I cover, which is the old kind of approach, teacher-centered, now it's student-centered. Student-centered means what? Students take charge of their own learning with our guidance. So we become the guide, the sage, not the sage of the stage, but the guide on their side. Okay, so that's clear. What does instruction means? And therefore, let's look at instruction design. This one I just give you to go through. Basically, when you design your lesson or your course, these are the cycle that you have to go through: design, develop, evaluate, deliver. Now we are focusing here, deliver. How do we deliver that 1 hour lesson? This one at the lesson level. This one at the course level: design, develop, deliver, evaluate. So when we teach the particular lesson in the class, whether it's physical or online, the delivery. So when we talk about dynamic lesson plan using Gagné 9 events of instruction as the ID model, you are talking about the delivery part. Okay. So now let's look at the different instructional model. Again, I would not go through each one of this. I will leave this module with you. You can go through, but just be aware that there are different kind of instructional design model, meaning that different approaches. What we want to do now is to focus on Gagné 9 events. So basically, Gagné 9 event of instruction developed by educational psychologists, American educational psychologist. His name is Robert Gagné. Basically, this is a systematic approach. See, systematic approach by design, not by chance. Okay, to create effective learning experiences. This model provides a framework that aligns with how people naturally process and retain information. So they have done the research and try to understand the brain, try to understand how people learn, and then use this model to align with that. Yeah. So basically, this is the 9 event. Very briefly, first, when you start the class, you must gain the attention. So just now I asked you to do the survey. I asked you to do the word cloud, 3 keywords to describe this. Ask you questions. What is one thing that you remember in the school. Those are example of how I try to gain your attention. Okay. Then inform learner of objective. Yes, we went through just the 3 objectives just now, remember? Then prior learning. So prior learning meaning that, let's say, you meet the student for the first time in the first semester, and but they have come from the previous class in the last 2 semesters, maybe this one second year student. So you want to know what they bring into your class now, into your subject. So you want to see whether they have enough knowledge and basic now to learn new things in your class. That connection must happen. So when you check for the prior learning, maybe you can give them quizzes and so on. So you want to see whether they have sufficient or adequate basic foundational knowledge to go through your course now. So you must see whether there's any gap or not. If there's a gap, then you must address that gap. Otherwise, they won't be ready to go through your class. A lot of time, lecturers don't do this. They just go in, start their class without checking the prior knowledge. So once you have done this, the next segment is present content. So the first event, second, third, fourth event, you present the content, just like you do give lecture, right? Provide guidance. We will go through the detail, then let the student practice. So in Gagné and the events, they call it elicit performance. How does the student demonstrate their understanding? So you give them quiz, you give them problem to work on, something like that, to test their understanding, to see whether they have learned something, they have got the concept and so on. So let them practice. In Ghanaian and events, we call it elicit performance. Yeah. Then based on what they have shown you, they have demonstrated to you through the quiz, performance, and so on. Then you provide feedback. Feedback is very, very critical and very important as part of effective learning. Then you can give another form of formative assessment, perhaps, to check for their understanding, and then enhance retention and transfer to the job. Hopefully, whatever that they have learned, it become a transferable skill. They can apply into another situation, into their daily life, into their work, and so on. So basically, ladies and gentlemen, my dear sahabat, these are the basic of 9 events of instruction, which you can design it into 1 hour lesson. Okay, so let's look at this more detail. I add here historical context. Very interesting, actually, how this Ghanaian and events instruction in the current form. Actually, it started from the military, the US military. The method was developed actually for instruction, to teach the army cadet and so on. So they were looking into one effective method, very practical, very kind of engaging. So this is where Robert Gagné came in. So, but since the first form of Ghanaian event, it has evolved throughout the years. So these are the chronological order, how this thing evolved. I won't go through this, but if you are interested to learn, you can read this briefly. Now, let's go deeper into each 9 steps. The first one is, basically, I have given the link here. This very good website. If you click this link, it will bring you to this page. This is actually a very good website, Ghanaian and Event Obstruction. I hope you all can find time to read this further. Very nice infographic here. which describe each of these in more detail. Yeah, what is it in the gain attention? What can you do? Inform objective. How do you how do you write your learning objective? How do you do recall of prior learning? How do you stimulate recall of prior learning? Then how do you present the content? How do you provide guidance? How do you elicit performance to check for understanding of your student? How do you provide feedback, assess performance, and enhance retention and learning transfer? So read further on this website. You can find a lot of details here, which will give you clearer, deeper understanding of Gagné. Then, okay, let's look at the first one, gain attention. What's the purpose? The purpose is to activate learners' response. Learners get them to kind of ready for the lesson, spark, capture their attention. Sometimes they come in with a lot of things in their mind. They came in from the previous class, so let them settle down and gain their attention first. Don't just rush in. Okay. And I have given here some of the ways how you can capture attention. How do you gain attention? You see, this is one of my class where I bring so-called teaching prop. This is something to gain attention. Yeah. If you are very creative teachers, or you always think about what are the different ways I can capture the attention at the beginning of the class. Sometimes you have to invest your money, yeah, to buy something, a prop and something, just to capture attention. But of course, whatever activity that you choose to capture the attention, hopefully relevant to the lesson that you're going to teach, to the topic, relevant to the topic they're going to teach. This one, actually, I talk about opportunity. So I say, okay, I have two balls in my hand, the small and the big one. Who like to grab the ball from me? Because I talk about creating opportunity, grabbing opportunity, creating opportunity, or just waiting for opportunity. So this is the kind of activity that I do in the beginning. Very interesting. It can really make the class become alive if you have responsive students. Okay, this is my colleague. You see, very creative. Some of you might know him, Dr. Zainal. Okay, very unpredictable. You want to be unpredictable, because if you become predictable, you become boring. See, these are all the different ways. So lessons well learned are lessons remembered, according to Dr. Zainal. So I've given you some ways how to capture the attention. Start with a mystery box, unexpected questions, dramatic entry, reverse thinking challenge, things like that. Okay, unpredictable, be unpredictable. I believe the hallmark of a great teacher is unpredictable. The teacher is unpredictable, or even look like crazy stuff. He or she like to do crazy stuff that really make the student excited every time, and the student always look forward to wait for the teacher to come. Just like I remember, I look forward for my English teacher to come, for my chemistry teacher to come. I'm talking about Form 4, Form 5, tingkatan 4, tingkatan 5. Okay, so things like that. So do you think you have created such unpredictability and such kind of your student get excited and waiting for you to walk into the class? If not, then time to think again. Okay, so that is gain attention. What about inform objective? This one is quite simple. We learn how to write learning objective, right? But here we are talking about how do you design what is a specific learning outcome that you want to achieve from that 1 hour class. Of course, this learning outcome at the lesson level must align to the course level as well. Okay. Always apply the SMART principle, yeah, specific, achievable, and so on, but within that 1 hour. Stimulate recall. So I've given also some of example in different areas, different subject matter. So you can ask ChatGPT, how do I stimulate recall for this particular lesson to achieve this learning outcome? Always now use AI. It can really help you facilitate and speed up the process. Okay. So I've given, some example here. Okay. This one is activity. We don't have time to do this activity, but I just want to say a little bit about that. Then present the content. So I hope you will go through this 9 events, yeah, elicit performance and so on. So these are all the details that I will leave to you. So in short, what all I want to say about 9 events, every 1 hour lesson, we will try to have all these 9 events if possible. These 9 events, when we are very, very familiar already with this, the way we design this lesson, it becomes seamless. You don't actually feel that there are 9 segments. It becomes seamless. But when you start for the first time, then maybe you feel conscious, you feel it consciously, you feel, okay, this one gain attention, then this one I move to the next, and so on. But actually it should be seamless. Okay, it should be seamless. So how do we design this easily? So let me show you now. I have given also some example here. You can take a look. Example of lesson design with Gagné. And how do I design this one? I designed this using this one, AI assisted lesson design. So we have about 10 more minutes, 12 more minutes left. AI assisted lesson design. So you can, if you don't want to use custom GPT, you can just use ChatGPT or any other chatbot. I have given you example here. The prompt, you can use this as an example. You can use this prompt to design your lesson plan using Gagné 9 events of instruction. Let's look at this prompt. Act as an experienced instructional designer. So we give the role to ChatGPT. A structured prompt always have 4 or 5 elements. First, persona. We give role. We give a persona to ChatGPT. Act as something. Act as someone. Second, we tell the task. What exactly you want ChatGPT to do. Give the task, specific task. Third, context. Provide the context. Design this lesson, what topic, what learning objective, for whom, what is the duration of the lesson, and this lesson is part of the bigger course, which is on instructional design, whatever. Give the context as much as possible. They are undergraduate students, things like that, yeah. Then after context, inside the prompt, in the prompt, you give information as much as possible. And of course, optional, you give example. Maybe example of a lesson plan, previous lesson plan that you have done. So that's the structure of the prompt. So in this case, we want ChatGPT to act as an experienced instructional designer. So we ask, give the duration of the lesson, give the topic of the lesson, and the learning outcome or the learning objective. Give some information about the target audience, undergraduate students, whatever, with the following, okay, give the learning objective or learning outcome. Then use Gagné 9 event. This is where we tell ChatGPT or the chatbot, we want to structure our lesson plan using Gagné 9 events of instruction. indicate the estimated time for each event. And again, remember, it's dynamic. So maybe ChatGPT will say gain attention 5 minutes, but sometimes maybe we have to do it longer, maybe. So then we have to cut down the other event so that we can still make it within 1 hour. Dynamic, adjustable, flexible. Provide sufficient details and several examples of each event. Create a well-structured response using markdown formatting. This basically we tell ChatGPT how to format the output in the format that we want. Incorporate heading and subheading. This is basically the format of the output. If you don't tell, then maybe ChatGPT will give its own format. This is an example of the prompt with the proper information. Act as an experienced instructional designer. Create a 1-hour lesson plan on waste recycling using green technologies for 8th grade students with the following learning objectives. So you give the learning objective, everything. So let's just copy this very quickly. And let's open ChatGPT. And just paste the prompt here. So this is a complete prompt. And let's see the results. So below is a 1-hour lesson plan for 8th grade students on this topic. Waste recycling using green technologies, using Gagné 9 events. So target audience, duration, learning objective. This one learning objective that we supply, that we provide. So meaning that now ChatGPT will design lesson plan to and map it with our learning outcome. So now see, gain attention 5 minutes. Inform learning objective. So all this breakdown for the 9 segment. Stimulate recall, present the content, provide learning guidance, elicit performance, provide feedback, and then more detail, gain attention 5 minutes. What's the activity? And this is only example that ChatGPT give you. If you're not happy with the example, you can ask ChatGPT to give more example, then you choose 1 or 2, usually 1. Okay, ChatGPT will give you only 1 example, but after that, if you're not happy, ask for more. This is the only example of question that you can use to spark or to capture the attention of the student. You can ask ChatGPT to give you several questions that you can choose 1. Then after that, inform learners. So this is a suggestion. How do you, display objective? Although you already have your objective, but look at the suggestion here. Maybe you can use the suggestion to improve. Then stimulate recall. How do you stimulate recall of prior learning? Think, pair, share. Again, all these are suggestions. Most of the time, the suggestion work. If it doesn't give you what, or you think you cannot do this, or you don't want to do this, ask for different suggestion. How to stimulate recall of prior learning. Because you want to connect. Checking for prior learning means you want to connect the previous knowledge that the students bring with the new knowledge that they're going to learn. So you want them to make connection. Because learning is about connecting dots, right? Then present the content. So ChatGPT will give you how to go about for each segment of the event. So nowadays, teachers, lecturers, now life very easy lah. Very easy lah. I imagine when during my time when I was still teaching, if I have AI, I can do probably, I can do a lot more for the students. But AI was introduced in November 2022. I retired in October 2022. Just 1 month after I retired, ChatGPT came out. Okay, elicit performance. What does it mean? How do you do it with the topic? So it gives you suggestion. provide feedback, assess performance, and then finally enhance retention. All these are suggestions to get you started, but of course you can ask for more. Okay, we have 4 more minutes. Last, if you don't want to type the prompt every time, then you can try my custom GPT. Just click this one and save it on in your chat GPT. Create lesson plan using Gagné 9 events. So when you click this, it will open this custom GPT in your chat GPT, and then you see, create a lesson plan using Gagné. You can save it, pin to the sidebar. In my case, yeah, keep in sidebar. Okay, so you keep, so it will be saved in the sidebar here. Will be there, so you don't have to look for it. So now just click this one, create a lesson plan for me. You don't have to type the prompt, and then we'll ask for details from you. Of course, ChatGPT will ask exactly, specifically, what is your desired learning outcome, what is the expected duration, who are your students, age range. So provide all this information. What are the key concepts that you want to make sure that you will cover, that students will learn? How will the lesson be delivered? Are there specific education standards? Take time, just answers these questions. Then after that, when you click OK, it will give you a complete lesson plan for that duration. Okay, so that's all. Simple. There's another chat. There's another custom GPT that you might want to try, Scaffold Learning Master. Okay, so let me now share the link for you to access this module. Okay, I've shared the link in the chat. Can you all check whether you can access the link? Sometimes I give the wrong link. So yeah, okay, dapat access. So that's what all. 3:29. I managed to finish on time. Very simple, very quick, something very practical that you can straight away apply it in your next lesson to create your lesson plan. So back to Dr. Chua. If there's any question, I can answer. I'll try to answer.
All right. Okay. So thank you so much, Prof, for the very engaging and session. So maybe we have time for one questions if there's anyone with the questions. So we can turn on your mic and put in your questions. For those without the questions, you may fill in the attendance and also your feedback. The link is already provided in the chat box.
All right, so feel free to use the module, and if you want to clarify anything, I'm always here to help you.
So, Prof. Karim,
Yes.
you hear me?
Yeah, can.
So I'm Vivian. So
Vivian,
then
yeah.
the one that you just show us, like Gagné's 9 events of instruction, right? So actually it is embedded on ChatGPT, is it? No.
It's not really embedded, but the custom GPT just now that I share with you all is I design it. Custom GPT is actually ChatGPT, but we train the we train this particular ChatGPT for one specific task. In this case, design a lesson plan using Gagné 9 events of instruction. So meaning that so that will save you time. You don't have to type the prompt. You all you need to do is just now I show you. Just click that. Then it will ask you a series of questions. Then provide the answer, because the answer is actually the information for ChatGPT to generate your 1 hour lesson plan. So the more information you provide, the more accurate information you provide, then your lesson plan will be almost 100% usable. Yeah.
Okay. But we will have to subscribe to the paid one, isn't it?
No.
Not
For
necessary.
custom GPT for free user you can use, but you cannot create custom GPT, but you can use as a user. You can use
Okay.
even for
Can
free.
use
Yeah.
can use for limited, is it? It is limited time or limited attempts or creation.
Maybe in terms of I'm not very sure. Maybe there's a limit lah, because we're free account kan.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, like ChatGPT, right? I use the free account. So
Hmm.
it is until like certain attempts, certain that it will not keep answer my question. It says that you have used all your free whatever. Then I have to wait for tomorrow.
Subscribe lah.
Subscribe. How much already?
What about 100 ringgit, maybe less.
For per month.
Yeah, to me it's investment. It will facilitate your work, reduce your stress. Because sometimes when you really want to use ChatGPT urgently, and then at that particular time it says, "Oh, you have reached the limit." It's very frustrating. So when you get frustrated, you get stress,
So I have
unnecessary.
to strategize what exactly that I want to ask. Plan,
Yeah.
that is the planning. Then so
Well,
that I will not reach my
you
that's
can do
what
that.
I
If
that's what
if
I've been
you
doing so far.
Yeah, okay, if you can live with that, fine. If you can live with that, fine. I look at it, all these things as investment, and as a way to make my life easy, make my work easy. Then I have less stress. That's how I work.
Yeah,
I
true,
I
true.
don't mind
Okay.
spending money.
We will think about it. We're
You
really
know,
concerned.
you know I do a lot of things for students. For example, I want to make them happy, so when they do something good, I give them t-shirt. I print customized t-shirt for them. It cost me around 40 ringgit, 30 plus ringgit to print one t-shirt, my own pocket money. I do that
Mm.
because I want the students feel happy. I want to create a memorable moment for them. Not because I want them to remember me, but remember the
Mm.
learning experience. When they study 4 years in USM, they have something to remember after they graduate. When they graduated.
But not
So
for all children, meaning that only the one that who really did a good job of it.
yes, yeah, or not for
Yeah,
everyone
not
lah.
for everyone.
If everyone get the same thing, then there's no
And
incentive.
so-
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
99 ringgit. Someone says
Wait,
99 ringgit per month,
99
Vivian.
ringgit. Okay. Okay,
Actually,
thank you.
actually,
So,
you can share the account though. If you don't mind sharing your account with, say, another friend,
mm.
like my son is using mine.
Can we sign in at the same time?
Seems like you can, but I don't know. Hopefully, ChatGPT would not. I mean, OpenAI would not detect and block my account. But so far, I know a lot of people are sharing with their children and so on. And when you subscribe, you can create project or folders. So your things will be in your folder. Your friends will be in their own folder, so it doesn't mix up with your work.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
we all can consider to share lah. But if
But
you
it's the
want to
same
put
account lah.
same account, same
Same
account.
account meaning that if you whatever that you have searched that will be in the, you know, in the folder. Then your other friend can also see, isn't it?
Itulah.
And also,
Kalau
you know, see each other punya,
can see.
punya,
Yeah, my
uh,
son is using mine, so I can see
so that you
what's.
can check on them.
I can check on him. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Prof.
Okay. You're welcome. Any more? Any more questions regarding the the presentation just now, or any other things? The AI things, maybe. Okay, no more. No more, Dr. Chua.
Any more questions? Okay, so looks like no more questions. So thank you so much, Prof. Karing. Okay,
Pleasure.
we are slightly over a few minutes, but still okay as long as we have our participants ask questions and all this. So thank you so much, Prof. And thank you
Okay,
to
pleasure.
everybody. All right,
Okay.
Okay.
Bye-bye, everyone.
to fill up your attendance and also your feedback.
Okay,
Thank you.
bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.